young goddess, by all means. Before I start, I want to just recognize that Mike, who is our full-time camera person, is training Randy to be a backup. And I just want to appreciate both of them. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Randy, for taking on this gift. And next I want to recognize Don Shell. He just came out of a COVID experience, and it was pretty rough for a while. And we just want to thank him. He shows up for bingo, and he stays early till late. He supports Natalie and the bingo crowd. And he will never leave a woman alone, he said, in this building or any other place if he can help it. So thank you, Don, for all that you do. You're wonderful. And today's a little different from our normal itinerary. What we want to do is build consciousness. We want to assist you and us in raising our vibration. Nikola Tesla said everything is either energy or vibration or frequency. And he said if you concentrate on those three, you've got the answer to life. So we're, again, here to raise our vibration. So every year, once a year, we do this, what's called the manifestation process, to manifest what we want. And that's why each of you should have a pad and pencil if you choose to. Anybody that doesn't have a pad or pencil, raise your hand. Don will bring it to you. Everybody's got one. Great, great, great. Because you may very well want to write a few things down. So I would ask you, how is your life going? Do you have everything you want? Do you yearn for something? Do you want something? And if you want it badly enough, this manifestation process will assist you in just manifesting whatever you desire. First, I want to back up and I have Dave's funnies today. Don't forget. So this is supposed to be all true, and it's the humor on gravestones. Where did we go, Natalie? We went down by Sierra Vista to where did we go? They had of course, Tombstone. How could I forget? And we got a kick out of reading the markers, the engravings on the stones. So there's several of them here. Now, Henry Smith of Albany, New York, born 1903, died in 1942. On the tombstone it said, he looked up the elevator shaft to see if the car was on the way down. It was. The grave of Ezekiel Dallenhouse, Nova Scotia Cemetery. Here lies Ezekiel Akid, age 102. Only the good die young. In Ruidoso, New Mexico, here lies Johnny Yeast. Pardon him for not rising. And John Penny, where's Penny? There's Penny. I told her we had a little quickie for her today. John Penny's epitaph from Wimborough, England, said, "Reader, if thou art in want of any, dig 6 feet down, and thou wilt find a penny." His name was John Penny. In a cemetery in Hartscombe, England, on the 22nd of June, Jonathan Fiddle went out of tune. Here's the last one. Anna Hopewell's grave in Vermont said, "Here lies the body of Anna, done to death by a banana. It wasn't the fruit that laid her low, but the skin of the thing that made her go." Thank you. My phone's going off here. Excuse me. So Jonathan Randolph Price and his wife Jan taught classes at Unity Village when I was up there going through ministerial school. And a profound couple, they both passed. He died recently of falling from 20 foot up in the air. What a 95-year-old man is doing, up 20 feet up in the air. Don does that all the time when he trims his palm trees, but we told him he would not do it anymore. So they wrote the manifestation process. He wrote 40 books, as a matter of fact. Profound people, just profound, loving people, had the Quartus Foundation. And they're the ones that called in 1984 for a worldwide peace meditation, and had over 40,000 people meditating. And the results of it were very significant. So here's a spiritual treatment we're going to do today. And again, it's not our normal every day, every week thing. But this power is so powerful. This is so powerful for you, for me, for all of us, to participate in this process if you so choose. There's no dogma here, nothing you have to do or nothing you have to believe. And that's up between you and the higher power of your understanding. But I would encourage you to become involved in this process. It's going to last maybe around 10 or 15 minutes at the most here. So Don has given everybody a pad, and you can choose that. So I invite you to, for your eyes only, nobody's going to ask you what's on your paper, write down something that you want. Financial, health, relationship, business, success, anything that you would desire. I choose, and then write what you down. And the fact is, as you already know from being here at Unity, you are a powerful spiritual being. Powerful spiritual being. And you have a direct connection with the higher power of your understanding, and whatever that is perfectly fine. So I'm going to give you just a few minutes to write it down. I choose. So I invite you to get comfortable as I read these. I'm going to read it verbatim here. So this is a spiritual treatment for the fulfillment of your desires, incorporating the 10 principles of manifestation. In the spiritual treatment of the manifestation process, please keep in mind that the secret of success is in the sequence, because each step sets the stage in consciousness for the one that follows. You tune into your presence within and take on the spiritual vibration. You choose that which is your heart's desire, knowing that the reason you have this desire is because the presence is wanting it through you. So you're choosing that which your higher self has already chosen for you. And then you accept the gift. And by accepting it mentally and emotionally, you have it. And the mental equivalent for it is formed in our consciousness. By seeing it in visible form and experiencing it through creative visualization, you are clearing the channels of any opposing views. And by loving what you see, you're focusing the love of divine energy through your consciousness. And by speaking the word that it is done, you are taking an act of faith that acknowledges the action of spirit. And at this point, the mighty currents are working in and through you, as you. Turn everything over to the master consciousness within, to the Christ within. Now the very energy of God flows through a consciousness of a like vibration. With a deep feeling, you express your gratitude and move forward with a tremendous sense of poise and confidence as you take the appropriate action in your world. And through this particular spiritual treatment, you are duplicating the automatic activity of super-being consciousness in a step-by-step process. And as you learn to manifest the fulfillment of your desires and become more proficient with the treatment, you will find that your consciousness will expand to where the entire process is accomplished independently of your thinking. And this is what it means to take no thought. I want to harken back to last week. We had a video by Rev Barry, and what he was saying in essence, how to pray, and I'm just going to hit on this just a minute. He went up to northern New Mexico, and he had a Native American friend, medicine man, that went with him. And the problem was they were having a drought, and the drought was so severe that they lost all the water on the reservation, and they had a really problem. So the medicine man invited Rev Barry to go with him, and he said they were gonna pray for water. And shorten the story, he said, if I ask for rain, rain would not come because I'm seeing it in the future. If I ask for it in the way I'm maybe begging or pleading, rain, 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 it's not going to come. And that's what we do so many times with our prayers. We want something and it's not happening now. So Faith Rivera sang that song, In the Now, and it is that in the now process that your power is. And so he said, instead of praying for rain, the medicine man felt the rain. He imagined the rain. He thought about the rain. He felt the rain. He smelled the rain. And he envisioned his feet in mud because there's so much rain that the dry ground has turned to mud. And he experienced all of his five senses, feeling the rain. Thank you for the rain. And that's how we pray. Jesus said, pray. But when you pray, pray believing that what you asked for is already yours. Pray believing what you ask for is already yours. You have to feel it like you want it. If you want financial help, see your bank account being filled. Feel the joy that you would feel if it was. And that's in the now. So for this process, I'm going to sit straight up in a comfortable chair, relax completely. Take several deep breaths to clear your mind. Let go of all pressing thoughts and concerns. Let it go. Be aware of your breathing, and breathe in peace, and breathe out tension. Breathe in peace and breathe out tension. Breathe in white light. Breathe out all negative energy. Release, release, release. I release and let go. Now wish your mind and emotional nature. With your mind and emotional nature, begin to sense and feel the presence of God or your higher power that is all around you, that is within you, in, over, under, around, and through you, closer than hands and feet, is this higher power. And contemplate this body of light. Feel yourself surrounded by the all-knowing mind is surrounding you right now. This heart of infinite love that occupies the same space that you do. Let this joyful spirit fill your consciousness with itself, and feel the dynamic power as your mental and emotional natures begin to pulsate to what? To that spiritual vibration. You are now aware of your God self, the Spirit of God within you, acting as you. And the presence of God speaks to you. Just relax. No resistance. I will never leave you nor forsake you. I am with you always. For you are my expression. You are the light of my light. And I have fulfilled myself as you. As you. And I've given myself to you. All that I am, you are. For you are my expression. I am all that you can conceive me to be. I am your supply. I am your health. I am your work. I am your relationships. I am your protection. I am your all. I ask only that you abide in me and look to me as your all-sufficiency, knowing that I withhold nothing from you. Now choose that which you desire in my name, in the name of the I am consciousness. Now I invite you to say to this yourself silently. Just focus on these words. I am God in expression. God is as me now. And the true self of me has assumed its rightful position on the throne of my heart. For the feeling of love tells me so. I now have the power of dominion. I am now a co-creator with God. I now have divine authority to manifest the fulfillment of my desires, and I use this power rightly and wisely. So in your mind, see a white screen, a blank screen, and write the words that you've already written by hand. Write these words in your mind with lines following after the word choose, as if it was on a ruled tablet. Now fill in the blank space after the words I choose in your own handwriting. Simply imagine that you are writing on the inner tablet of mind the choices for this particular time in your life. And after you have mentally written your desires, go back and focus on each word with great clarity. See each word very clearly, and let the words become deeply impressed in your mind. Now, say to yourself silently, I now accept the fulfillment of this desire now, with all my mind, with all my heart, with all my soul. I accept this fulfillment now. Now I feel the spiritual idea representing the fulfillment entering my consciousness. It is the idea of completion, and it has moved into my feeling nature. Its vibration is warm and pleasant. I love this feeling. I accept all the good that God has for me now. And because I've accepted fulfillment of my desire, I now have it. I go into the have consciousness. I have it now. I have the object of my desire. I no longer need what I formerly desired because I now have it. And I love the feeling of having. The feeling of having feels so good. And through this knowledge of have, I know that I am that which I desire. I am abundance. I am radiant perfection. I am the ideal relationship. I am all sufficiency. I am total fulfillment of every desire. Now, in your mind's eye, look at the white screen again. And on that blank screen, begin to play your mental movie. See yourself doing, being, having, and enjoying your good in overflowing measure. See yourself, feel yourself joyous, happy, loving, and free. Now add the color and sound and dimension. Etch deeply every detail in consciousness, knowing that what you are seeing is now, the present time. You have it. It exists right now. Not a point in the future. Now. Now see the best that you can conceive. Lift up your vision and image, the highest and most fulfilling scenes that you can produce in your mind. Feel the excitement, feel it, of seeing your desire already fulfilled. It is so wonderful. See it, feel it, know it, have it. You have it now. Feel that with your mind focused on those beautiful images. Begin now to let all the love you can feel in your heart pour out. Love those images of fulfillment. Know you have it now. Feel how you feel by having it now. Now say to yourself, silently, oh, how I love what I see. I love the joyous expressions and the happy scenes. I love doing what I love to do. I love being what I want to be. I love having what I want to have. I love the pictures of total fulfillment that I'm now seeing in my mind and feeling in my heart. Feel it. Feel it, know it, you have it. Hold on to that vision. Hold on to that vision. Now, close the curtain of your mind and turn within to the presence of God within you, letting that feeling of the presence enter your heart. Now say to yourself, nothing is too good for me to have or experience. So in the name and through the power of my master self, the Christ presence within, I speak the word. I let there be total fulfillment now. I call it forth. I let all the good that God has for me come forth into manifestation here and now. Now I have it. I let the Spirit of God work within and through me to meet every need, to solve every problem, and appear as the fulfillment of every desire. My faith in the loving givingness of God is mighty, and my good does come now. It comes forth into visible form and experience. See it, feel it, trust it. May all good come forth now by the power of my word. It is done, and it is so. Thank you, God. Now, I totally and completely surrender to the activity of God. I let God have its way with me. God is the only power at work in my life. I let go. Let God be God. I resist not. I let go and let God do God's perfect work in and through me, as me. As me. Pray this, please, silently within. My Father within. Mother, Father, God. I completely surrender now to your goodwill. I know that even in my highest vision, I cannot behold the fullness of the glory that you have planned for me since the beginning. So I release my needs. I release the desires and images. I release my will to you. Your will, not mine, be done. And I'm willing to accept my highest and greatest good now. I know that by releasing everything to you, the whole creative system of the universe is an instant action in my life and affairs. I know that only that which is good, only that which is beautiful and perfect and abundant, peaceful and joyful, is now flowing forth into manifestation in my world. I have it now, and I give thanks. Thank you, Father, for this new life of love and light. Thank you, Father, for total fulfillment now. My heart overflows with gratitude and joy. My cup runneth over, and I'm so very thankful. Praise God, praise God. Now rest for a moment in the silence and just feel the presence in, over, under, around, and through you, as you. Now, I move into action in my world as a co-creator with God, always listening to the inner guide and doing that which is in front of me to do, the very best of my ability. And just go into silence for a moment of prayer. Just focus on being thankful. Knowing that you have this feeling of gratitude and thankfulness. Here is a section from the works here. John and Jan had this spiritual center, Quartus Foundation in Boerne, Texas. They had a research center. They invited all these spiritual beings that are present on the earth and the invisible beings as well. I said, in our spiritual research, we discovered that an individual's consciousness is, in reality, an individualized energy field, a force field of concentrated spiritual energy. And if an individual is not enjoying the abundant life in all aspects, it simply means that the vibrations within this energy field are out of tune. When these vibrations are raised to the proper tone and pitch, consciousness becomes harmonically balanced, and wholeness and well-being are outpictured in a person's life and affairs. He said, by way of illustration, think of the frequency within each energy field as similar to the strings on a harp, with each string corresponding to a particular principle in the creation of form in the physical world. when each string, so to say, is vibrating at the correct or divine frequency. The consciousness is harmonious and clear. Physical forms and experiences are created out of individual substance, out of invisible substance. And we call this activity of creation the manifestation process. So I invite you to take this work home, and I don't have copies of this. In fact, this is the only thing I have available, a copy. So work on this during the week. Now, as people have said to me, when we talked about creative visualization, we talked about holding the thought, to keep what you have in mind and hold that thought. So many people say, I can't hold it. How long do I hold it? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, what do I do? And I'm not seeing any results, and I'm not getting it. Well, Abraham Hicks, is anybody familiar with Abraham Hicks? Oh, look at the show of hands. Yes, absolutely. There's I think it's a 12 or 13-minute video that we want to show. And this is her. Was recording. It wasn't videoed. So it's got a little cartoon character for her. Oh, and Abraham, for those who don't know, is a consciousness. And it turns out to be she is communicating with. She is communicating with a group of beings that used to live on this planet. And they are scientists and people that were in all different fields. When you go on the other side, it's not going to be just all rest and peace. You're going to have jobs. You're going to have responsibilities. And they're going to center around helping the people that are on Earth to communicate with them. Your family, friends, and people that you're just going to meet. You have a responsibility to do that work, that spiritual work. I said this to a group one time, and they said, well, I thought you could just sit on a cloud and float around. As above, so below. As above, so below. As below, so above. So you will be busy doing fantastic work.
We're really kind of out of time. So
oh, really?
Yeah, we could maybe do a short piece of it, or I could send it out to people.
So we have no time left?
Yeah, we can do a few minutes.
I set them up for it already.
Yeah, how about we do a few minutes of it, and then I can send it to people, because it's...
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
It was our desire to remind you that you are vibrational first, which means you got to pay attention to something other than what you're seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching, because while that is vibrational interpretation, most people don't know that. So it was necessary to help you to understand that you are emitting a vibrational signal in order to help you to understand that your signal that you're emitting is being answered all the time, and that's what equals your life experience, period. Most humans don't know that, and in many cases don't want to know that, because they don't want to assume responsibility for what's coming, especially the parts they didn't want to come. Abraham, I'm sure I'm not the creator of my own reality. I would not have created that. And we say, we didn't say you did it on purpose, but you did do it. You did do it. Sounds a little blameful, doesn't it? You did do it. But when you realize that you have creative control of your experience, because you have vibrational control of your experience, because you have focused control of your experience, because you have the ability to focus, then you say, all right. But then when it's hard, you say, not all right. This shouldn't be this hard. This shouldn't be this hard. And then you say something, which is the last thing we ever want to hear from you. I'm not good at this. But you are good at it. You just don't know you're good at it. You just haven't practiced being good at it in the way that really gives you the clarity. And that's really what we're going to be talking about here today. If you've been following us for a while, you've heard us say that you are the creator of your own reality. Blah, blah, blah. Enough of that. And that you live in a vibrational universe. Blah, 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 blah. Enough of that already. But you do, and you are. So, blah, blah, blah. So, here you are, the creator of your own reality. And life is constantly throwing things at you, isn't it? Well, it's not really like that. life is happening around you and you're observing, but it really isn't after you. It's not testing you. It's not challenging you. It's just being around you for you to observe. It's just this magnificent palette for you to play in. So life is happening around you, and you are participating in it through your observation, through your memory, through your awareness, through your conversation. You're participating in it. And as you are doing that, you are coming to lots of conclusions, many and every day, of what you want. Because life helps you to know what you don't want. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. It's just this wonderful variety or contrast that helps you to come to important personal conclusions. So these conclusions happen within you, and we've been calling that step one, because the variety, the contrast that surrounds you, causes you to ask for what you want. Whether you use words or not, you just constantly keep coming to personal preferences. You were born like that. You've always been like that. You'll never stop being like that. We want you to accept that you are like that. It's a good thing. Step one is a really, really good thing. You're asking constantly. It is the basis of the expansion of the universe. It's a wonderful thing. So you're asking, step one. Step two, not your work. That's where law of attraction and the source within you answers what you're asking for. When you emit a signal, the signal is answered. So ask, answer, ask, answer, ask, answer. But your discomfort is that there often appears to you to be quite a time gap between your asking and the universe answering. But there is not a time gap between the answer. There's just a time gap between you getting up to speed with the answer. You say, hey, Abraham, that can't be right because I want it. I'm paying attention. If it were there, I would know it. And we say, it comes in a vibrational form first, and you say, oh, so that's the catch. You're giving me something vibrational that I can't see or hear or smell or taste or touch. So you can say all day that when I ask, it is given. Write a book about it if you want, Abraham. You can say that all day, but to me it doesn't feel like it's being given, and we say that's because you're in a different frequency from what you're asking for. You have to line up with what you're asking for. In other words, when you want more money because you clearly do not have enough, when you feel frightened or bound or in trouble financially or just not satisfied, when you feel that way, you are that way. And you say, no, I feel that way because I am that way. And we say, no, you am that way because you feel that way. In other words, it works differently than you think it does, but you've been observing it for so long, you don't know which came first. But what comes first always is your vibrational countenance. And then the manifestation just matches what you feel like. So if you want more money and you feel like you don't have enough money, you can ask all day, all day, all day, every day. You can write long lists of it. But if in your belly, if in your being, if you're feeling the fear or the absence of money, then you've got a vibration going that's different from the answer that you seek. You want more money, but your vibration says, I don't have enough. And the universe says, and law of attraction answers you with what you're feeling. So a lot of our physical friends, especially in the beginning, say, well then, it doesn't seem like I can get there from there. It doesn't seem like I can get to where I want to be from where I am. Because if I am missing something that I want, and I'm aware that I'm missing this thing that I want, and in fact the reason that I'm speaking about it so clearly is because it's missing and that's why I want it, then how do I get there? And we say, you have to feel like it feels to have it. And you say, okay, then give it to me and I will. And we say, just try a little bit. Just try a little bit to not activate within yourself so often the vibration of what's missing, and focus yourself into activating the vibration of what you want. It is not as difficult as you think. So, step one is contrast causes you to ask. Step two is it is given vibrationally, so there is no gap really. Step three is you have to convince yourself there's no gap. That's the work. You got to feel it as if it is in order for it to be. And we know you balk at it, but many of you are practicing this and are finding it. Many of you are understanding the laws of the universe, and you're finding ways to focus yourself into feeling good without needing all of the evidence to be there first. Do you hear how important that is? If you don't need the evidence for what you want to be there first before you feel it, then you are able to accomplish the vibrational countenance of it before it is, which means now it must be. And Esther said, please, 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 let's call it step 4. Please, please, please. Can't we call it step 4? We need another step. We need another step, Abraham. Please, please, let's call it step 4. We say, all right, step 4. So you ask, step 1. Source answers, step 2. You allow it, step 3. But now we've been talking to you for a while. You've been keeping up with us pretty good. And we're saying to you that if you don't try so hard, if you just accept that you are naturally good-feeling beings, and when you wake up in the morning, before you start thinking about the things that you've got to do that you don't want to do, before you start remembering the injustices of yesterday or 10 years ago, before you remember that you're going to that place today to work that you really don't want to be, before your kids get up, before any of those things happen that challenge your sense of well-being, if you can get hold of that sense of well-being and just sustain it for a little bit with really general thoughts, because if you get specific, it usually doesn't work as well. Get into an attitude of appreciation and milk it for just a little bit. Law of attraction will help you out. Because law of attraction says that that which is likened to itself is drawn. And law of attraction will give you, it's not really giving it to you, it's just the way it is. It's like gravity doesn't give you attachment to the planet. It just is. So law of attraction provides for you this consistent life experience. So, to make it very clear and blunt, we like blunt, you have 17 seconds to sustain this thought and move it into something even more powerful. 17 seconds, and another thought like it joins it. And there is power, manifestational power, in that crossing that 17-second mark that most people don't know about, or when they wake up, they would make very sure that they stay there for 17 seconds. So if you find a good feeling thought, or better said, if you wake up and don't introduce a not good feeling thought, because when you wake up, there's no thought. During that time of slumber, you have stopped the momentum of all thought. That's really an important thing to understand. You don't know that mostly because you wake up and you start thinking so fast that you pick up your momentum right where you were and start it all over again. But when you slumber, momentum of thought stops. Law of attraction is suspended for you. Your point of attraction is no longer attracting. So when you wake up, you have a really good possibility of getting out of the bed on the right foot. Getting out on the right side of the bed. These are your words. We don't like them very much, but we thought you'd relate. You have a very good possibility of getting the vibration going the way you want it to go. And your best possibility is first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, before there is any other momentum going. So we've been talking about this for a while. And Esther really, 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 really listened. So she decided that she was going to wake up on that first morning and she was going to sustain her good feeling that she had awakened with. And she didn't make it until breakfast. Quite annoyed with herself, which didn't help. But the next day, she tried it again and didn't make it much past breakfast. Then she discovered that if she just wouldn't read her email, it would help. So her dominant intent became to sustain this feeling of well-being as long as I can. Just sustain it. And what she began noticing about the second week and third week and fourth week of doing that was that not only was it easy to find and maintain that frequency of feeling good, but there were all kinds of other benefits that began coming to her that these words won't give to you. You have to do it and find it yourself because words don't teach. So we're just explaining to you what Esther experienced. She found a new clarity that was not within her before. She found a sort of stable ride. She remembered Jerry's story of shock absorbers. He used to tell a story about he got a new car. He was test driving it. It was a beautiful Cadillac, and it was in San Diego. And the salesperson took him down a road that Jerry thought no nice car should ever be on. And he was amazed at the ride that that car gave him, even on a very bumpy road, because the suspension system, the shock absorbers were such that even though there were bumps in the road, he did not feel them in that car. And he used that analogy always, and it's the same analogy that we're offering to you here. When you find vibrational alignment with who you really are, and you sustain it for a period of time, what happens is you get shock absorbers. So even though the same sort of things may be happening around you, you might even see some of them, although law of attraction makes it less and less likely that you're going to participate on any personal level with anything unwanted once you begin sustaining this vibration of well-being. But the whole point of all of this, we don't want you to become so vibrationally snobbish. Esther says, I'm a vibrational snob. I like clarity and I will not accept confusion. But when you care about how you feel and you practice it until you're in this place where you are sustaining it more consistently, then you don't feel like you felt before. You know how when you first start knowing that you are the creator of your own reality, and you get feeling pretty good, and then someone says something that takes you away from your good feeling, and you think to yourself, I'm never talking to you again. I'm going to avoid you. You are a downer. But then you find yourself in a sort of state of avoidance everywhere. You can't watch television. You can't really go out in the world. You have to give your children away. You just can't barricade yourself into enough solitude to really maintain the vibration, and you give up so much by trying to do that. The benefit of alignment shouldn't have to pay the price of being a hermit. You should be able to practice your alignment until you're so good at it that you can go anywhere, be anywhere, with anyone, and maintain your vibration. And let's call that step 4. Because Esther wants to.